is Alana, and I'm with Banyan Medical Systems. So I am the company that is bringing virtual nursing to Homestead Hospital, and I'm an account manager. So what my role is that I serve as a liaison between Homestead Hospital and Banyan. Okay. So one thing you guys are going to be seeing is all these lovely cameras in the patient rooms. So this week we're doing training. Next week we're going to be going live, okay? And that will be next week, Tuesday, which will be on the 23rd of May. Okay? So myself and my team will also be here to help to support during the go live. So we'll be here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And then I believe one of my colleagues will also just do a quick round Friday morning to make sure everything's going well as well. Alright, so just to give you guys a quick overview of what you guys are actually looking at, right? When a patient comes into the room, they're going to be looking like, what are these cameras, right? So, right above the television is what's called our Banyan Bridge camera. And the Banyan Bridge is how our virtual nurses are able to call in, speak to the patients, and view the patients. It has about a 5-time optical zoom. Nice camera. It can pan from wall to wall, and so if there's any family members in here, we can see nurses, doctors, anybody that's in the room, they have a full view of the room. Right above the Banyan Bridge camera is our infrared sensor, and that allows the virtual nurse to be able to see into the room even if it's completely pitch black. It'll kind of look like a black and white night vision. To the left of it is going to be the huddle camera. Now, the huddle camera is what I like to call our big dog camera. So it has a 20 times optical zoom. We can see extremely finite details. We can read the fine print on the glove box. We can read how many liters of O2 your patient's on, right? So that allows us just to get that finer look. We can also see if the IV is infiltrated, for example, right? Now, in this position, the camera system is completely off. No one is engaging with it. There's a little blue light that's above the huddle camera. That just means that power is supplied to the huddle camera. Nothing's on, and the huddle camera is pointing up. Okay, so this is the complete off position. If your patient ever asks, are they being monitored? Are we being monitored? Are they recording us? Are they listening in? No. There is no two-way, there's no recording capabilities. It's only a live two-way stream. Once the camera is off, it is off. Nothing is stored, nothing is saved, and our virtual nurses are not able to just look into the room at all. And anytime that the camera system is being engaged, there will be a rainbow light that shows on the Banyan Bridge camera, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like right now. So right now the television is on. The TV doesn't have to be on, but let's say your patient's watching TV. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have something on the television, right? So when your virtual nurse calls in, they're going to hear kind of a fancy doorbell sound. So that fancy chime is going to ring about 2.5 to 3 times, and then at this point, the virtual nurse will be able to speak to the patient, and the patient can speak normally, just like we're speaking, and the virtual nurse will be able to hear them clearly as well. It's important to see that there's a rainbow light that is on the Banyan Bridge camera now, and the huddle camera is now no longer pointing up, right? So it changes position when someone's engaging with the camera system. Now take a look at my laptop, and just because I've turned off the mic. So just because I've actually engaged with the camera system does not mean that I can actually see the patient yet. I have to ask permission if I can turn my camera on and if I can turn the patient's camera on first. Okay? So if the patient's like, hey, this light's on, are they looking at me? No. Unless they have asked if they can turn your camera on, they're not looking at you. Okay. So if I say, hey, Mr. Jones, this is Alana. I'm here to go over your admission questions. Is it okay if I turn my camera on so you can see me? Yes, absolutely. You can turn your camera on. Wonderful, thank you. So what's going to happen is automatically the television is going to go into the input where the virtual nurse can be seen. And you guys are going to see your virtual nurse on the screen. To the bottom left, you're going to see the room number and you'll see the name of your virtual nurse. Okay, so that's easier for you guys to recognize face and put it to name as well. What's also good to remember is that right now you guys see me in my normal clothes, the regular background, but your virtual nurse is going to have on navy blue scrubs, and they're going to have the Homestead Hospital logo behind them as well. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, they are a part of your Homestead Hospital team. Okay, they don't need permission to interact with the patients. They only need permission if they can turn on the camera at this time or not. So just like a doctor doesn't need permission to round, or case management doesn't need permission to get things ready and together for the patient, the virtual nurse, you don't have to have anything signed by the patient. This is just how Homestead Hospital is now delivering patient care. You get 2 nurses for 1. Okay? So that's one of our highlights that we like to make sure that our patients are aware of, that you get 2 nurses for 1 now. Okay? So now, if I say, hey, Mr. Jones, now that you can see me, is it okay if I turn your camera on? Absolutely, go ahead. So now, when I turn the patient's camera on the television, it stays completely seamless. Nothing changes there. But on my laptop, I can now see the entire patient room. Okay. So what we will be able to assist with, for example, right? It's going to be like your admissions, right? We'll be helping you with the admissions. So while you guys are doing your height and weight, documenting your patient belongings, we can be getting what the patient's pharmacy is. Have they had falls in the last year? Do they use a cane, right? All those normal things. Do they have difficulty swallowing when they eat food? All those questions that typically they have maybe a whole story for, we can ask those questions for you, give you back some time in your day. On top of that, and daily education, if you guys have any daily education, the virtual nurses can do that for you guys as well. Okay, and this includes not just things that are in Cerner, but let's say you have a patient that needs to have a blood transfusion later, right? You can ask the virtual nurse to go in and educate that patient on, the ins and outs of what to expect during that blood transfusion. You can also ask the nurse to educate the patient on what signs and symptoms they should be looking for if they have a reaction, right? And you can also ask them, hey, can you stay in there for the first 15 minutes while I go handle something with another patient? They can do that for you, okay? And then also we're going to be helping with discharges as well. So they'll be helping to build your discharge paperwork, like the education that goes with the patient when they leave. So the good thing about it is that with this capability, the virtual nurse will be able to share a digital copy of that discharge education on the screen. So while you guys are handling something else, they can be going over that with the patient, and then they will message you through Tiger Connect, which is going to be our main method of communication. Okay, they would message you and say, hey, all is set. You can wrap any last things up, print it, and bring it into the patient and have them sign it. Okay? So admissions, education, and discharges are what we're going to be assisting with. And then just to give you guys an idea of what the auto camera can see, so under your little glove that are in the corner, it says non-sterile fingertip textured, that's how closely we can read, right, from across the room. So it has a very good, clear zoom and camera. Okay. Also, when I turn the camera off, you'll see the television is going to automatically go back to whatever the patient was watching. Huddle camera goes back to pointing up, and the rainbow light goes off, right? In that position, I'm right back to my normal screen. I can't see anything. I have no link back into the patient's room unless I call back in. Okay. So what we definitely want you guys to keep in mind is that when your patients come here, right, you guys may have people who've been here repeatedly, but this may be the very first time that they're seeing cameras in the room. So you guys are going to be kind of like the first point of contact, so you want to make sure that you let them know this is how Homestead Hospital is now delivering care. It's important that they feel comfortable knowing that there's going to be a virtual nurse, right? The best part is knowing that they're a part of the team, right? They're here to help you out. They're here to be that second set of eyes if you need it, that second set of ears if you need it, to make sure that you go home as well as possible, right? So that's important when we're introducing them, and we'll also be here next week in case you need help with that. The next thing to remember is that this is a two-way communication. So we're using Tiger Connect as our main method of communication. And just like if you had a second nurse that you were working with on one patient, you'd be like, I'm gonna do the assessment while you go get the medications. And then let me know when you're done with the assessment, I'll come in and give the medications, right? So it's that two-way method of communication that's gonna be really vital to this working and thriving. And at first, you guys are two people that haven't met each other, right? But as the day goes on, they're very nice, they're very open, they all operate underneath their own licenses. They are fully fledged registered nurses, and they're credentialed for Cerner and for your Homestead Hospital. Okay, so they are part of the team. And then lastly, just remind your patients there is absolutely no recording. They can feel safe. If they need to change in here, no one's peeking in. They will always know when the camera system's being engaged. Okay, so those are the biggest things to remember. And also, just a reiteration, Fabiola has a process flow video that will be coming out that she'll be sending out with this information, and that way it will just compound and help with the process part and the workflow that will be coming for next week with the go live. Any questions as of right now?